Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very special extra interview of Final Cut. Today, I'm joined by an actress who you could class as a scream queen, so, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honour and privilege to give you Amber Pauline.
Hi!
Hi, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
And I'm even happier to have you on. So, obviously, you're pretty much alright. So, how did you get started out in acting?
Oh, well, I will say it started out as a childhood dream. It was something I wanted to do pretty much my whole life. I've always had a strong passion for it and been drawn to it. But as a kid, my parents didn't support it. So then as I became an adult, I still had that passion. It never went away. And one day I just decided to finally go for it. And I found a mentor who helped guide me through it. And I ended up going in acting class. And then my acting coach, Steven Snyder, was a very strong mentor and heavy influence in my acting career.
So, obviously, you just said how you got started acting. What were your influences growing up?
Oh, my influences? I would have to say my very first one in acting is interesting. It was actually Lucille Ball.
Ooh.
Lucille Ball. I loved her show. I loved her acting. I loved her zaniness and how she just was totally different and unafraid and was so out there. And she was so talented and so wacky. And I to me, that inspired me as a child. And I was also a very big horror movie fan. Go figure. And I would say I was definitely inspired as well by Marilyn Monroe.
Ooh, nice. So
those were my biggest inspirations.
Not Jamie Lee Curtis, seeing as you were Scream Queen.
Yes, Jamie. Absolutely, Jamie Lee Curtis. She was number one Scream Queen for me.
Oh, bless her. And she's still going now, actually. She's got another Halloween movie out this year. Well, supposedly out this year.
Yeah, that, and then I saw her last Michael Myers one, and also she's in Scream Queens, which is one of my favorite shows, by the way.
Watched a bit of it, but to be fair, I was more case of watching Rob Zombie movies and watching all the Saws and all that, so I'll have to check it out.
Oh, yes, you must. It was great. It was great seeing Jamie again in her character as Laurie.
Right, so let's talk... Sorry, carry on.
No, it was excellent.
Yeah. Sorry, so let's look at your movie career. So you're in a movie called Legacy, in which case I shall talk about a certain cast member of it who anyone who was born in the 80s or 90s will recognise, a certain Luke Goss who was in Bros. So what's Legacy about and who do you play?
Oh, Legacy is actually, it's an action film about revenge, and Luke Goss is actually the good guy, and he's the hero, which he is in real life too as well, I have to say. I played a very rich heiress who was in her mansion having a party, and some bad guys came in that scene, and here came Luke to be the hero. I can't say everything about it. You guys will have to watch it on Amazon Prime. But I will say that Luke Goss, by the way, is a really, really, probably the best actor I've ever worked with. I will say that. He is such a good person, such a guy to work with. He is so down to earth and treats everybody like friends and family.
But a guy who actually became quite famous in the 80s by the sound of it.
Yes, Luke.
Yeah. So what was it like to be cast in Legacy? How was it for you?
Oh, to be cast in it. Well, it's interesting. Sheila Thompson, I met her in my acting class, and she was actually casting for it. And I did audition for it, and I found out literally 2 days before filming, and I was really excited. And when I found out the information, I was like, oh my gosh, Luke Goss. I thought that was so exciting. But being cast in it, it was great. They treated me like I was family. It was an amazing experience. Definitely not one I ever had. Like, it was unlike any other. It was such a pleasure to work with them and to be there.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit from a few. Basically, say when you're on a movie set, you're kind of like family.
Oh, you are. But this one for me was a very unique experience because they, like I said, it was as if you knew everybody. It was great.
Yeah. So obviously, sorry, carry on.
No, it was a lot of fun working with the cast as well. Very talented.
Now, speaking of talented cast, I believe you were in the Babysitter sequel, weren't you?
Ooh, yeah, Babysitter. That was a lot of fun. Babysitter Killer Queen. I was the bikini girl, and when I got cast in it, I was super excited because I saw the director was Mick G. One of my favorite since childhood directors was Mick G. I've been a big fan of his films and his shows that he's directed and produced, and having the privilege and honor of working beside him was a one-of-a-kind experience. It was literally a dream come true.
Now, obviously, for those who have seen either one of the movies or both of them, they know that Samara Weaving, Robbie Amell, and Bella Thorne was in this. So, did you see any of them while you were on set?
Not Samara, Robbie, or Bella. They were not in that particular scene. However, I did have the pleasure of meeting Judea Lewis and Emily Eland and Maximilian Acevedo. He is a new actor. He plays Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Very talented, very, very talented and good friend of mine. He's actually working on an album right now, and I would recommend that everybody follows him on Instagram, Maximilian Acevedo. He's very talented.
I'll make sure that I follow him after we've conducted this interview. So keeping on the horror genre somewhat, you actually did a horror short called Miniature. What was that like to film?
Oh, Miniature was also a lot of fun. That was my first horror short I ever did. And I had the pleasure of working with Samuel Gonzalez Jr., who is definitely a one-of-a-kind director. He definitely thinks outside the box. He's huge on horror, and mentally, like, whatever it is you think your limits are in horror, he'll get you there to pass those limits in the funnest way possible. I got to play with some fake blood. That was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. That's definitely a unique experience as well. Miniature is a great film. That's actually going to be premiering at Screamfest LA on October 15th. Go ahead and look for some tickets on screamfestla.com. Miniature will be premiering at the Drive-In Theater in Malibu.
Yep, so you have a week to actually get your tickets while they're still there.
Yes.
So obviously you're a Scream Queen, which means I personally think you are qualified enough to answer this question. What would you say makes a good horror movie?
Ooh, what makes a good horror movie? Well, definitely the killer. Definitely the killer. I think there always has to be a damsel in distress. For me, there has to be some blood and gore, but there has to be a really good story behind it.
Are you of the minority like me who prefer realism over CGI?
Yes, absolutely. I prefer realism. Absolutely, I do.
Yes, finally, somebody who actually agrees with me on that.
I'm old school. I'm old school when it comes to that. I love the old school style horror films because to me, although they're good now, there's a whole lot of CGI and it just takes away from the fear and the build and just the draw for me. I really enjoy the older horror films more than anything else.
That's exactly what I say about horror with CGI in it.
Yeah, it kind of ruins it a little bit for me. I'm like, it's cool to see and it's kind of fun, but it just takes away the true horror elements for me.
All right, then. Are you up for a bit of theory work, in theory?
Sure.
All right, if you were to write your own horror movie, how would it go? Using the rules we've just set out, of course.
Actually, it's interesting you say that because I have been in the process of writing my own horror movie.
Oh, really?
With the two other actor friends of mine who are also writers. We're actually in the middle of it. We took a little break on it because of our web series. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, it would definitely start, it has to be psychological too, for me. I would say it would start maybe with The Stalker.
So we're going to start off with a bit of Scream, are we?
Yeah, a little bit. That's actually one of my favorite horror movies. That's a little bit current.
How can you not like the one movie that actually saved horror in the 1990s and then got it and gave it another jump start, if you like? How can you not love it?
Exactly. Thank you. That and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Ooh, good one, good one.
Yes.
So we start off with a bit of Scream, with a bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer. How would it go from there?
Ooh, how would it go from there?
Yeah.
I would say with definitely maybe Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
A little.
Hold on. No. We've got to decide about this. Are we talking John Carpenter's Michael Myers or Rob Zombie's Michael Myers?
Oh, great question. John Carpenter, all the way.
Now, I would normally agree with you on this, but I am a huge fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween.
I am too, though. I am too. I'm going to stick with the classics.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. So, how would you have it end?
Ooh, the end, maybe with a little bit of The Evil Dead.
Ooh, with about 250,000 tons of fake blood pouring down. I would seriously watch that.
There you go. All the way, because as much as I love like the suspense horror or the slasher horror, I also love the gore horror style. A good gory horror movie.
Yep.
You can't end it without that for me.
All right. To have it. Yeah. All right. Another multiple choice. We're talking Sam Raimi's Evil Dead from the 80s, or we're talking Fede Alvarez's recent remake of it.
Okay. Although I love the recent remake, I'd have to go Sam Raimi.
Yeah, me and my co-host who we do a podcast with kind of have a disagreement on that. I actually say the recent remake by Fede Alvarez is way better than Sam Raimi's. He actually disagrees with me on that. You cannot have Evil Dead without Ash Williams, and to be fair, we're both right. We're both
right. You can't. Ash Williams is the best. To me, Evil Dead would not be the Evil Dead without him.
But he is in the post-credit sequence in Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead, so technically he's still in it, just not as much. And for good reason.
Right, but he was a lot of fun. And by the way, I also love the spin-off Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, my co-host does as well.
I heard that they're actually making a new one.
Are they?
With Bruce Campbell.
Oh,
I'm excited.
That's it. How many more groovies are we going to get now?
Right?
Right. All right, just going away from your own horror movie. Would you prefer making a one-off horror movie or a horror TV series like Scream Queens or even Scream the TV series?
Ooh, I think I would say a TV series because I kind of feel like as much as I love the feature, because if it's only one, as much as I love them, I would love to continue it. Both.
I suppose
I want to see a lot of story.
I suppose the other thing is with horror, after about the first 2-3 movies, it kind of goes a bit bland, and then you're going into like Friday the 13th territory there, or even Halloween, or even Nightmare on Elm Street, where the movies just keep going on and on and on, and it's just like there's no rest whatsoever. It's just a case of one movie after another, where it's just further diluted the longer it goes on.
I agree. You know what? I do agree with you on that, because after a while they lose the story. It's how do I say? It's just like it's overkill of the same thing again. Yeah. I do agree that sometimes they need to leave it at maybe stop at 3, depending. Like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. The only one I will say is that Halloween, it did go on for a while, and I still enjoyed it just as much. That's the only one I will say that was good, that they continued for a while, and it still had a great story. Until
they literally ruined it with Halloween Resurrection.
Yes, that's where it was enough. Enough was enough.
Oh, and Halloween 3 Season of a Witch, which actually had nothing to do with Halloween whatsoever.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm still to this day puzzled by that. I still question that. Like, I still wonder why that was even in that trilogy, because it had nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Well, apparently it's a cult classic, although I'm not quite sure who's qualified enough to call it that, because it definitely is not.
It's not. To this day, I still can't figure it out. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong. But I has to do with Michael.
So what we've basically theorised is that Halloween had the best number of movies, but we scratch our heads together as to why Halloween 3 Season of a Witch is basically a Halloween movie.
Yeah, I have no idea. That should have been, to me, just a whole separate spin-off because it had nothing to do with it.
It still would have been. Yeah, it still would have been pants, though. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right, so let's move away from your acting career and into other possible areas. Would you like to move behind the camera at some point into, say, writing, producing, or directing at some point?
I would, and I actually have, since I am currently wrote my web series and still continuing writing a few more episodes of that. I am co-producing, and I'm learning a lot about directing right now. So I am very interested in directing, writing, producing, because I have a true passion for all things cinema. And I'm really enjoying the opportunity I'm getting to do that right now.
All right, you've just mentioned your web series, so no doubt some of the ladies and gentlemen are eagerly anticipating what it's about. So what is it about, and what will be the focus of it?
Okay, well, I'm very pleased to announce it, actually. This is the very first time, by the way, I'm sharing this, so...
Exclusive!
Here we are, the final cut. It's going to be called Killer Click.
Ooh.
Yes, it definitely has some horror, dark comedy, and supernatural elements, with a touch of Mean Girls. That's all I want to share about it right now. I will say, me and my best friend, Haley Nassar, have worked very, very hard on it. We've been writing it for a little over a year. We got two other writers involved on it, Mark Mora and Tori Despres. And we put it together and we started filming. The pilot we will be premiering towards the end of October. And I'm very excited to share it with everybody because this is something that's a little bit of everything that's inspired us and what we've always wanted to portray. And I will say that I do star in it beside Haley Nassar, her sister, Sydney Nassar, and Brittany Cox.
Right.
Also, Tori Despres.
Right. Okay, just for ladies and gentlemen who are...
No, it doesn't. It's totally separate from the horror short that I was writing. Has nothing to do with that. I will say, though, it is in the ballpark of, think Jennifer's Body,
Ooh.
Screams, Mean Girls, Clueless, and Jawbreaker.
God, you are pushing the boat with 4 different meats there. Makes it sound even more intriguing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not like anything that's out there. And I use those references just to get the idea of it, but it is very different.
All right. When will it be live? When will it be available to either watch or download?
It will be, we're still working on that. Definitely the last week of October. Ooh. I will say we will be airing it on a Saturday, so let me check my calendar with you really quick. It's pretty hectic.
I believe that is Halloween night.
No, I don't want to premiere on a Halloween night. You know what? I will say Friday, October 30th.
Friday 30th. There you have it, folks. 30th. 2 exclusives, what she's actually working on, and the date it's hoping to be released. What more could you ask for?
Exactly. And it's a dark horror comedy. So it's a lot of fun, but got some pop culture in it.
So we definitely have
inspired a little bit by Quentin Tarantino. Let's just say that.
Ooh, now I have even more intrigue. Is there any more intrigue in this you can force me to have? Because every single thing you've just said has got me intrigued even more than you had before.
I will just say it just has some very talented actors and writers and producers and a director involved. To be announced, by the way. Don't want to share it yet, but he's definitely made he's made, I think, 78. He's directed, produced 78 films in his lifetime. So he's a very good director that will be announcing the day we premiere it.
An experienced director from the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so let's move away a little bit before we do accidentally venture onto spoiler territory, which I'm sure you definitely don't want.
Okay.
Right, so seeing as you are literally you can do everything in the movie business, I'd just like to get your insight into this little section. It's what I do with every actor or actress, or in my case, stunt woman, writer, producer. I ask just a bit of advice, really, just for anyone who's listening. So, what advice would you give someone who feels that they are going nowhere with their entertainment career? It doesn't matter whether it's singing, dancing, acting, or directing, even.
Ooh, well, first of all, I would say, if it's something you're truly passionate about, if it's something that's been a dream of yours, if it's something you're truly talented at, I would say don't give up on it. I would say, however hard you're working, keep working hard, stay consistent, network, put yourself out there, and whatever you're doing that isn't working, go about it a different way. Ask your fellow actors, directors, classmates, dancers. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask people, for help, or just ask questions. Put yourself out there. Be brave, be bold, and don't. If it's something you truly want, don't give up on it. And keep pursuing it.
There we go. Sound advice from someone who sounds like she's been there before.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All right. Obviously, we're in a bit of a sort of like a tricky situation now with cinemas. I mean, we have had them reopen over here, but 2 cinema chains have actually shut until quarantine is actually lifted in probably April. So, do you think that will be the norm, where cinemas will be replaced by streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, HBO Max in the case now that that's actually gone live?
I think it's definitely something you can consider a new normal.
Yeah.
But I do have faith that it will go back to the way it was. Actually there are some movie theaters that are open. I know there's limitations and there's the mask. I have faith that things will eventually go back to what we knew as normal, but I do think it will be a little bit of a new normal. I do think the option of streaming, on all those services will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think we will have a full cinema and theater viewing once again.
Yeah.
I believe it.
There's a lot of people who I have asked that question. They actually seem to think that cinemas won't be replaced by like Netflix on a permanent basis. So you're in one along the majority, if that makes you feel any better.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Mm. So aside from all the movie stuff, what are you passionate about?
Ooh, passionate. I am passionate about, I would say, definitely I'm passionate about acting. I'm passionate about writing. I'm passionate about all things cinema. But I'm truly passionate at, above all, being creative. Mm-hmm. I love being creative. I love collaborating with people. And I love just creating something different that you're passionate about. That's a dream. And just making something new, something different. Nothing that's ordinary. I like thinking outside the box. Mm-hmm. And I'm inspired by other people who are passionate and creative about what they do in their art. Because I consider what I do an art.
It is an art form, to be brutally honest.
It truly is.
All right, then. What would you say would be your career highlights?
Career highlights? The first one I would definitely say was working with McGee. Yeah, definitely being beside him and, him also thanking me and telling me what a great job I did and getting to work on a Netflix film. I did get to be in another Netflix film called Moxie. That was the second highlight because I got to meet and work beside Amy Poehler.
Ooh.
And I'm Amy Poehler. A lot of people don't know that because it's not out.
Yeah, I do like Amy Poehler.
Oh, Amy Poehler is a great director, by the way. She is so awesome, so fun, so professional, and so smart at what she does. She's a very talented woman. I love Amy Poehler, and I loved Parks and Recreation. That was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Other career highlight, I would say, was actually Mind Talker. That was a great experience, I have to say. that was a different character that I've never played before.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to sing for that character, and I filmed and had to travel to Rosarito, Mexico, which was absolutely beautiful, and we had stunning locations. And the director and the crew were literally, like, we became family after that.
All right, so what would you like the future to hold for you?
The future to hold? Ooh, definitely producing, directing, writing. I would say go from a web series to a Netflix series. Feature film. I would definitely love to write and direct a horror film. And above all, it would be the ultimate, a Marvel or DC Comics movie.
Oh, any in particular?
Oh, anything that involves me being Harley Quinn. Anything that involves that. Because those who know me know how much of a big fan I am of Harley Quinn. I have been since I was a kid with the comic books.
Ooh. Who knows? There's a new Batman. Well, there's a new Arkham. Well, it's not really Arkham. It's a new Rocksteady game coming out. So, if they happen to do another Suicide Squad movie, you could always audition to be the voice of Harley.
There you go. Yeah, and I actually did practice the voice a little bit. I do got that down. I could do it for sure.
Can we hear it?
Oh, I'm saving that one. I'm saving it. I'll reveal that another time.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So, if people want to find you on social media, how would they go about it?
Oh, I use Instagram. I am not a huge social media person, but I am on Instagram. You can find me on Amber Pauline 7.
So I've just concocted a bit of a mini quiz for you. It's only 3 questions, but I think you should have a lot of fun with them. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. Let's do it. I like a good challenge.
All right. So out of all the TV and movies you've been in, what would you have liked to have had a bigger role in?
Ooh, I would say Babysitter Killer Queen.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. So, all right. Was there any TV or movies that you'd loved to have done but couldn't for whatever reason? I'll give you an example. Hugh Jackman was originally meant to play Wolverine. Doug Grace Scott was, but he had to do reshoots for Mission Impossible 2, and that's how Hugh Jackman got the role instead of him. Oh yes. Yeah. Actually, there was a horror movie I was gonna be in before, but unfortunately it clashed with the filming of another movie, so I could not do that. And that one for me still bothers me to this day. What was it?
You know what? It was so long ago. I'm not even sure of the name anymore because I know the title changed.
Ah, yes, as they technically do. Yeah, that's fair enough then. All right then.
Yeah, but the director was Perez.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, he's a very director.
Yeah.
So I still wish I got that one.
Yeah.
Next time.
Oh, we always think next time, but who knows? Maybe the next role will be bigger than what that one actually was.
Exactly.
Yep. All right then. I hope your brain's in gear because you might need it. All right. So name me 10 to 20 actors or actresses that you haven't starred with yet that you would like to star in before you retire.
Ooh, Margot Robbie.
1.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
2.
Brad Pitt.
3.
Let's see. Oh, Scarlett Johansson.
All 4. Good choice.
They love her. Let me see. Well, but she's already gone. Okay, Charlize Theron.
5.
Meryl.
6.
Let's see. Who? Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
7.
Will Ferrell.
8.
Amy Poehler.
9.
Who's the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy? Oh, no, wait. Actually, Christian Bale.
10. That's it. You got 10. You can carry on if you want.
Oh, Chris Pratt.
11.
Let's see. That's all that's coming to my mind right now.
I tell you what, for those 11, you've absolutely aced it. Everyone else is usually like, oh God, let me think. Yeah, yeah. It's literally like I know who I want, I just can't remember who it is.
happens.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So on probably the quickest 11 actors or actresses I've heard in the time I've been doing that quiz, ladies and gentlemen, I give you my guest at this time, Amber Pauline.
Thank you.